What's going on, guys? Dan back here with the Regular Guy Garage. Got a couple new parts in for the Mustang. Nothing huge, but very crucial parts if we're going to be drag racing this Mustang here in the near future. All right, so first and foremost, I've been ordering a lot of stuff from Jegs lately. They actually make a lot of good parts made in the USA and relatively cheap as well. So, I keep it pretty budget on this channel. I would love to get the, absolute best parts and stuff for the car, but with the budget that I'm on and what I'm trying to do, this stuff is more than perfect. So what I have here is this is a Jegs 5-point harness for the car. I don't just want to race the car with regular seat belts in it. Besides, I don't even think they work anyway. So I got myself a nice Jegs harness. I'll open it up here in a second and we'll get that installed. So now really all I need to get down the track, safely is a helmet. As far as safety wise, that'll be good for us for now. Now let's get into one more mod that we need for this car before we take it drag racing, especially with these, the way the car is set up. All right, so what I have here is what pretty much all Foxbodies need if you're going to be drag racing them. This is a set of subframe connectors. This is the driver's side, and then there you go, there's the passenger side one. So what I was actually going to do is throw the car on the trailer, take it down to the place that I got the exhaust and stuff welded on. Those guys did great work. But then I figured, you know what, if I'm going to spend that much money just to weld on, basically run a few beads of weld on from underneath the car, why don't I just invest in a small welder and do the job myself? So I don't have a welder right now. However, I'm just going to take a quick run down the road, grab a very budget-friendly entry-level welder, MIG welder, and that is going to be more than enough for us to just weld in some subframe connectors. So, but first, we're going to throw in this harness. It won't take us long at all, maybe 5 minutes. All right, so here's the belt all laid out on the ground. Like I said, just a Jegs brand, made in the USA. Nothing spectacular, relatively cheap, and we're SFI certified up until 2022. I don't think we'll really be running fast enough for that to matter anyway. All right, so this is essentially what's gonna look like. Really simple to install. And the good thing about these is when I actually cage the car, these can hook right up to the harness bar, which will be running across in the back. But essentially what we're gonna do, we're just gonna have it run over the seat for now. And these ends are gonna bolt down into the, cam card down there. These are gonna bolt down into the floor right here. The lap belt, excuse me there. The lap belt's gonna just bolt right in here where the seat belt is on both sides. And then this front one, I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten it down to one of the front, there's a bolt right there. And then we'll be good. All right, so I got a little ahead of myself. We're not gonna be putting the harness in the car yet because, on the box it said you can, bolt it down to the floor of the seat like I was doing, but the belts aren't long enough, and so we'll just go ahead and wait until I get an actual seat for the car, which I'm probably gonna have to do here pretty soon because my seat belts, they don't actually work. So there's no point in racing the car, without a properly working seatbelt. I'm just not gonna do that. So, all right, so change of plans. We're gonna get the car loaded up in the trailer and get it brought down to get the subframe connectors welded on. I'm gonna get the car loaded up, bring it on down, and actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the process that I use of setting up this car on the trailer. It's really quick, really easy, really simple. And for those who don't know, my towing rig is my Ford F-250, and that is a 18-foot trailer. I've got a little winch mounted on the front that I did myself. I've had that in videos before. An issue with this trailer, especially with the Foxbody, is that it's got a pretty steep incline, at least for lowered cars to get up in. I do a lot of car hauling and stuff. There's been a few that have scraped exhausts and whatnot. So typically what I'll end up doing most of the time is I'll get some wood blocks or chalks or whatever and put it up under the jack, and that usually gives me enough clearance to get the bed tilted back a little bit and get a car up here. but the Foxbody is a little bit lower. So what I end up doing is I take my ramps right here, and then I end up putting one under each back tire, and then I just back up over it, and that gets the front of the trailer up a pretty good amount, and it gets the back nice and low, so I can just drive the Foxbody right up, no problem, no scraping or nothing. All right, as you can see, much closer to the ground now. All right, as you can see, drove the car right up, no problems. Now we're just gonna drive off the ramps and start getting this thing strapped up. And I'm not gonna lie, I can't wait to get the car up here like this and be heading to the racetrack and not to spend some money at the shop. But got the car up, leveled off now. Let's go ahead and grab, don't mind my golf shoes. So I have a whole bunch of these straps. I'm a slob, not that one, that's for jumping, combat equipment. So I have a whole bunch of straps. I'm kind of a slob. I need to police them up a little better, but need some axle straps, and then I also use a couple shackles. And so the reason I grab 2 shackles is because of the setup of my trailer. I only have a few of these spots right here to hook up. There's 2 here, and then there's 2 right here, but I don't use these because of, as you can see, the tires right here, and I really don't have anywhere to hook to. So what I end up doing is I come to this piece of angled iron right here, and the way that I actually set it up, like I said, this is the way I do it on my trailer. The hook on my strap fits perfectly right here, and I get a nice diagonal line out to the rear of the car where I hook up. All right, so here's my first connection, the one that I use to the front. Again, I go to my shackle right here, and then I go up under the car, and you can't really see, but that's hooked to, there's a slot in the K member. So that's hooked right in there. Pull pretty much all the slack out of it, and just tighten it down. I'm not gonna go fully right now because I still gotta do the other 4, but that's where my connections go in the front. Same thing on the other side. You know, these you don't really have to yank them down too hard. As long as you have tension going front to rear and then rear to front, plus the car is in park. Additionally, the e-brake is on. The car is not gonna go anywhere. But this is just where I hook up. I know, you know, really one thing you never wanna use, the control arms, because that could really ruin your suspension geometry. And then obviously you don't want to hook to things like the rack and pinion. But K-member, where we're hooked up, perfectly good enough spot. I mean, it's not the thickest chunk of steel, but it's a nice chunk of steel, so we won't have any issues with that. All right, now coming over to the rear of the car. Like I said, with this piece of angled iron, I go in here with the hook. It fits perfectly fine, never had an issue. I moved a lot of cars. And then I get an axle strap, and I go around the axle. And the big thing about this, you make sure you're on the inside of that brake line, okay? Because if you have it on the other side, when you tighten this down, it's gonna pinch or destroy that brake line. So inside of it, axle strap, right to the side, there's a nice straight line. We'll tighten that down, it'll be perfect. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, and then we'll be all set. All right, as you can see, got the car all lashed down. Another thing that I do, because I keep these straps really long because I move some equipment sometimes too. So I end up just throwing some zip ties on to keep the straps from flopping all over the place, and then from keeping me to have like some, you know, like ugly tie down. So I use some zip ties, not a huge deal. All right, so an important thing that you want to do before trailering this car anywhere is, if you have adjustable shocks like I do, you want to make sure you set these to the proper setting. So I'm going to do 0 on the actually I'll do 1 on the rebound, and then 3 on the compression, because that's what it calls for. I'm going to do 1 on the rebound, 3 on compression. guys, so this video didn't actually turn out as planned, and I guess it kind of happens sometimes, but I guess the way I'll finish it off is I'll just give you an update on what's going on around here. You know, I put it on the trailer to go get the subframe connectors. They couldn't do it today. The guy said like, hey, yeah, it's a quick job. You know, we usually have no issues getting them in, but they're super busy. Not a huge deal. So I might go back to my original plan of just grabbing a welder. Additionally, the car is just going to stay on the trailer because in a couple days we're going to get it tuned. So I will have that next video should actually be this car on the dyno so we can see what kind of power it makes. That's where we are with the car. Next video, you will see this thing on the dyno. We'll see what kind of power it makes. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Check out the build. If you like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you don't follow me on Instagram, @RegularGuyGarage. I do post on there from time to time, not too often. I'm not going crazy with it. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you on the next one.